have to hide my heart and what I believe in, but somehow I will show the world what's inside my heart and be loved for who I am. Who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? Why is my reflection someone I don't know? Why must I pretend that I'm someone else for all time? When will my reflection show who I am inside?
Okay, now we're going to have one last presentation for you. It's going to be done by Manjula. Am I saying that right?
Good afternoon, ladies. I would say gentlemen, but there's none here, and a few that are here are hiding outside. Good afternoon to them anyway. I'm just going to be brief. Manjula Data is my tutor. My tutor from London University.
Put your mic close.
Hello? Okay.
Yeah, go on.
All right. Okay, I'm here to introduce my tutor, Manjula Data. She teaches me one of the modules that I thought is relevant to all of us here, having come from ethnic minority or different diversities. As we all know, London is a multicultural city. So basically, what has impressed me on the module that she teaches me is it related to me personally as a mother and as an ex-refugee before I become British nationalist, as most of us are here. And most of her work is to do with children and education, and she wrote a book about bilingual and literacy. And the reason that I invite her is because one time when she was lecturing us, she said that our children should embrace, what's wrong with your mic? Should embrace their culture, because it enriches them. If they speak more than one language, they should not shy away from it. And I have noticed that from my own experience as a mother, my kids, when they learn Dinka from day one, when they went to school, my younger son didn't know how to say milk in English. He was saying chaku all day, and he cried all day until I came back and they called me to the corner and said, "What is chaku?" And I said, "Milk." And then they offered him milk. Now as an adult, I speak to him in my mother tongue, he responds back in English and pretend he doesn't know. So he's shying away from it like the rest of the other children. And for that reason, I thought that she can come here and talk. It's a pity that the children who really need to hear this are hiding outside there. They should be here to hear this, that their language enriches them to learn more and bring out the best in them, not to shy away from it. And that's why I invite Manjula, who wrote a very good book about it and have managed to help her. She will say more about that. Thank you very much.
Let me welcome you all. I'm delighted, absolutely delighted to be here to be speaking to you all, because through Karina I came to know a lot about your culture, about language and everything. And as Karina said, that my research shows very, very, very strongly that children should be in touch with their language and culture, because we must understand, at the moment, the way you are thinking, what you are thinking about, what I am saying, you are not just thinking in thinking through your language, through your culture, ways of thinking. That is important. And if children are told, well, in schools, it happens, I'm sorry, it happens in schools, English, 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 English. And if homes do not support children's languages, and especially cultural ways of saying things, and that is their identity, you see, that is their identity. They come into school like Kalina's son, crying for milk, doesn't know what to say, chapo, 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 and he wanted milk. These are the kinds of things that we must absolutely understand. A few years ago, I did a thorough research with we call them bilingual children. Children with bi means two languages or more languages, yes? And children with not having English as their mother tongue. You see, we must understand that all of us, including the English children, use language and think the ways English culture allows them to think. You understand? But we must also encourage our children to think about our ways of saying things and our images, when they're writing poems, when they're writing stories, put their own thinking in, and that makes a story very, very, very rich. You see, if children are forever frightened and anxious, I must do in English, and all the thinking is taken away from the child, because the thinking there is centered around his or her cultural ways of doing things, what he sees around him, what she sees around her, through her culture, through other things, as well as language. So it needs a proper session for you. When Elizabeth said I would be doing a workshop with you all, I hope you all are able to come, and with your children, because I want you to experience it for yourself, what I mean, that language and culture and thinking are intertwined like this. If you take away children's language and culture, they can't think properly. They are full of anxiety, full of fear. Like this poor child, with saying chapo, and confused why they can't understand. You see, if these kinds of talks go on in classrooms, you see that people have different ways of saying things, different names for things. Every child will become quite informed and quite intelligent. My research shows that if children are allowed to think through both ways, not just the English way, but their cultural ways, they use the language, not just the English language style, but their own ways of saying things. And the expressions that create are absolutely unique. They are wonderful expressions, and that is why, if you look at the adult world, who are writing big novels, novelists coming from different language and cultural backgrounds, they are writing big novels in English. Why do we read those novels? I read novels from all cultural backgrounds because I want to know how things go on in that life, how they think, how they do things, etc. That's why it's interesting. That's why English language is so enriched by it. So enriched by our contribution to the language. And English can absorb, has the capacity to absorb all this. And we must encourage our children right from the beginning not to discard their language. But I do understand, being born and brought up in this country, it is difficult for children to just speak in Sudanese, in your language. It is difficult. Please don't pressurize them. Their brain is bilingual brain. They will switch from language to language all the time. But you keep steady with your language, with your cultural ways of doing things. The child will absorb all that into his head, into his heart, and the child will progress. I don't know, if I knew I was coming still here, I would have wanted to read you a poem or two from this book that I have written. Greetings. This was written by a class of 9-year-olds, and the teacher was Greek. She was trained by us at London Metropolitan University. So when she became a teacher, she took what she learned from us into the